1933, Congress adopted the Securities Act of 1933, which was the first federal regulatory act intervening in securities markets. And the Exchange Act followed in 1934. I highlight these two pieces of legislation because they followed the stock market crash of 1929. And just as you described, they were Congress's efforts to intervene to ensure hardworking Americans are not parted with their hard-earned money as a result of fraudulent schemes. It also sort of the introduction of these two pieces of legislation also began to help create the foundation of the regulatory architecture in our unique and well-celebrated and arguably preeminent financial markets. And so what I would suggest is that Congress has laid a foundation through legislation in the creation of the Securities Act, the Securities Exchange Act, the securities related acts that followed, and ultimately the Commodity Exchange Act, a regulatory framework that ensures complementary regulatory oversight. In other words, our jurisdiction meets the jurisdiction of our sister regulatory agencies at the seam, and we are tightly woven together. And in part, that weaving together of a regulatory framework is intended to ensure that there is no regulatory arbitrage. There are few opportunities, if none, ideally, for market participants or others who might have that might not be motivated by a desire to invest and build and create entrepreneurial businesses to grow, to scale, and to do the kinds of things that we want entrepreneurs to do in our market. Those who are not motivated by those values, those who are seeking to exploit vulnerable market participants, our goal is to ensure there is no gap. And this is where we begin, actually. There is no regulatory gap that would permit that type of conduct and behavior.